The broadcast is now live.
It says live. Hold on, this is weird Matrix shit. Let me just watch our thing on YouTube to see if it's live. Okay, it's live on YouTube. Oh, that's so weird. See? Hello, everyone. See, it looks weird, right? Because
on YouTube.
it's
Oh, that's so weird.
You should turn it down now.
hello, everyone. See, it looks weird, right?
Oh, on YouTube. Oh, that's so.
Oh, sorry. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Sorry, that was because I had it on a different browser. Okay, cool. This is so weird because we're live on StreamYard, but it's broadcasting to YouTube. Yeah, so I've never used StreamYard before. But okay, hello everyone. We're going to get started into the live show. So Brandon and I are on different screens because I'm back home in New York, and Brandon's still in Minnesota. So we are going to talk about the book like we're on a Zoom call, which is always really fun. So, do you have your book with you?
Yes, I do have it with me. It's really unfortunate that we're on Zoom for this particular book because this is one of the most coziest reads we've ever had, and I can't spend it IRL with you right now. So it's just, I wish we did it for the other book, but that's fine.
I know. Also, doesn't it feel a little weird, like being apart and doing this like that? I feel like we bring up each. You know what I mean? No, you can be
We,
honest.
yeah, no, we feed on each other's energy. But
Yeah,
it's like a conversation thing as well. I'll still feed off your energy, but yeah, the screen is a little bit different, but that's okay.
yeah. It's
I hope
like
everybody who's listening isn't too bothered by it, you know.
yeah. We're gonna. It's like us spending the first minute talking about. No, yeah. I also feel it too. Like when we're together, it's easier. Like we hype each other up. We're like hype people, so it's easier to get excited about talking about the book. We're still excited to talk about the book, but we're just apart right now, so it's like we're still trying to figure out the vibe. We literally got on this call like 10 minutes ago. Okay, but today we're gonna be talking about Legends and Lattes, which is okay. Apparently, this book was Book Talk famous. Did you know that?
Well, you told me this, and I think it was partially the reason why you decided to, because this was your choice, remember, for this month.
I mean,
And
that's
then I think it
true,
also blew
but
up.
I haven't seen it on TikTok at all since I've been on TikTok. Literally, not even once.
hmm
So
I'm
I'm
also,
like,
I'm not on TikTok at all,
yeah,
so I
you're
wouldn't
not on
know.
TikTok, or else I
Yeah.
would have sent it to you. But I haven't seen this book at all on TikTok, so I was like, how is this book TikTok famous? But I guess it is. It has over 25,000 ratings on Goodreads, which is a lot of ratings, and it's a 4.11 at
hmm
25K rating. So that
In
means
my opinion, well deserved.
exactly, it's a good book. Okay,
Yeah.
but first we're gonna start with. I really want to hear your like first impression. Like when I handed you this book to read, and I told you this is gonna be our book of the month. What did you think?
Okay, so just a little bit of context. I have just very, very recently became a bit of a D&D nerd, and that's because of because I recently got a car. Well, not too recently, it's been a couple months, and I was trying to figure out stuff that I could listen to while on the road on longer trips. So I went on Spotify and was looking for podcasts, and I found one called Critical Role, which is a very, very famous D&D podcast and Twitch live stream platform, basically. And I've been just like a massive fan of their acting and the way that they portray their characters. So I got really into the D&D world, and then lo and behold, you suggest this book, which I, after reading the back and seeing how it was, it was related to D&D and it was kind of set inside of the world of D&D. I was like, oh my gosh, what a coincidence, and also hell yes,
What's funny
because
is I didn't even know it was inspired or
no,
like taking place in the D&D world. I mean, it
hmm
obviously has that like look to it. I guess it's like kind of like it
well,
kind
it's
of
that high fantasy kind of, and that's what D&D is. So when you mentioned the book, I was just like, what a coincidence, and also what an amazing find, because it's just the title caught me off guard a little bit because it's it's high fantasy plus lattes, so it's high fantasy and coziness, which is a very strange mix. But yeah, I was very, very intrigued. Did not put me off in the slightest that it was kind
really
of
it
what it
didn't.
was marketed as, like a cozy read, because it was just like, how do you mix two very wildly different things? D&D, high fantasy, murder and bloodshed, basically, and coffee making or
Well,
coziness, as you
I mean,
associate.
I would consider Dungeons and Dragons to be like a cozy game. I in the way it's played. You play it with friends. Like, it's usually. I mean, the only things I've seen it is kind of like iterations in Stranger Things, and like where it's like you're in a basement, there's like lights, it's very cozy, and it's like very friend oriented like game. So like I don't know, inherently it feels very cozy to me, which is why I think that this book makes sense.
That is true, but that is playing D&D. The actual characters in the world of D&D is not cozy. Usually it's betrayal, a lot of really horrible things being done at NPCs, at the characters that they create's expense. So it's not always fun in games. So we actually see a little bit of that in both the prologue and the epilogue.
Mm. So this book falls into a genre of cozy fantasy, or like this category of fantasy. So would you read another cozy fantasy book after reading this?
I think it would highly depend on the fantasy side. Because I had like a sort of connection to it, I was able to connect with it a little bit better.
So you wouldn't read another cozy fantasy unless it was a Dungeons and Dragons inspired cozy fantasy?
I think it would be more of like a recommendation based. Like
It
if
would be
you
like
if you're recommending it and saying that's good, I always trust that, because you
it
always
would be
pick
case
out
by
really interesting
case.
good books. Huh?
So it'd be case by case basis.
Probably case by case basis. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I was excited to bring this book to. I actually don't remember how I heard about it, but I kind of picked it because obviously I love coffee, so I wanted to read a book about a coffee shop. But yeah, it also surprised me too. So I guess we can get into a little bit of like the story and our questions. Hold on, I have my questions pulled up here. Okay. All right, let's talk about. Oh, also, I saw some reviewer. Okay, tell me if this isn't perfect. A reviewer on Goodreads said that this book was Dungeons and Dragons meets Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Isn't that
very, very.
beautiful?
That's a very good take, I would
Like,
say.
I feel like reading this book is like playing Animal Crossing.
Yes, it's that same wholesomeness. There is some drama in this book that you wouldn't get in Animal Crossing, I would say, but it's an inherent like cozy, like no stakes at all kind of, story that you
Yeah,
can
and
get
when they're
involved.
like building stuff, it's like they're building stuff in Animal Crossing because there's like different. It's like things are accumulating. It's really cute. I really love that. So that reviewer was really cool, and I just wanted to point that out because I really love that. Because
Hmm.
you played Animal Crossing with me too, so I thought that you would relate to that.
Yes, I really
Okay,
like that comment.
right? Okay, so jumping into the question. So which character did you relate to or empathize with, and why? Do you want me to go first?
Yes, why don't you go first?
Okay, I prepared my answers for these because I was just like, because I actually read this book. I read this book a week ago, so I ultimately forgot everything that happened in the book. So, yeah. Oh well, you're gonna have to remind me.
Okay.
So I related most with Tandri. Are you Tandri? Tandri, right?
I would say Tandri. I could be completely wrong, but that's how I read it in my head.
Yeah, Tandri. I really liked her character. I think it's because first of all, I didn't really know what an orc was, so Viv was harder to relate to. I knew what a succubus was, and I knew like the stereotypes around like her character, and I just liked it because she was very like fiery, but she was also really kind, and like she and Viv like related in the same way that she wanted to be known as like apart from what the world made her out to be. So I kind of related to her in that way. Not that like I can relate personally about like I want the world to see me. Well, I guess there are always stereotypes that like I'm trying to break and everything, but she stood out as a character to me more so than the main character.
Hmm. I love how Baldree wrote her character having like in that society as having like stereotypes and kind of um you know people seeing her in a certain way that isn't just because of what race she is, which is a really interesting take that you don't usually see in any kind of well, not a lot of time in that kind of character. So it was very, very interesting to see. I relate to Viv mainly because I felt her lack of marketing ability.
Oh my
'Cause
god,
I'm
no.
very yes, so I'm really like throughout the story, she has this grand idea that she is working on, and the brute force work that she's very, very capable of doing, which is the actual building of the coffee shop, the creation of her like of the place, all the brute like the grunt work basically. And I relate to that because I feel like I would be comfortable doing that. But the designing of the menu, designing of the chalkboard or the board that they wrote things,
That's me.
and trying to get people to get into the place. I related to her not knowing how to do that.
That's so funny. That's me because I am Tawdry because she was the creative brains and she was like the marketing one. She was like, Viv, like, why don't you know all of this? Viv, why don't you know how to get customers? Like, it's so easy. Just like think of it. And Viv was like, how do you know all of this stuff? You're such a genius. That's like our energy right there. Like,
Yes, it is absolutely our energy, and I love that. But I have a secondary character that
I know
is
who it is. It's the guy who plays music.
yes, it is the guy who plays music, and as we've covered many times, I don't do names very well, but I know what happens in the stories, and I loved his initial interaction as a very, very shy musician who was just trying to not even asking for money, just to put something or to express himself in through music, and then being afraid because he tried something new, but then later building his confidence into his music more and more over time until he got used to the feeling and wanting to be on that stage just like how he was in the beginning. And I really relate to him. And also the fact that it reflects kind of a little bit of small coffee house entertainment industry where it's a symbiotic relationship. The musician attracts people coming in to watch the shows, then they buy drinks or coffee from the coffee shop, and then the coffee shop employs the musician, pays them a little money to, stay inside of their shop and play. So it's just that dynamic was so relatable and such a really good reflection of what actually happens.
Yeah, I like also how Viv, the coffee shop, like Viv and Tawdry were like encouraging him to try new things and to be there and like, trying to uplift him and make him believe in like his own talent, which is really, really nice. This book is just like a warm hug. Like I've never read a book like this, like a book that actually makes you like doesn't give you anxiety. At least fantasy. At least fantasy, because sometimes
Okay, that would be a different take for me because I don't usually get anxiety when it comes to
I mean, not
fantasy.
anxiety, but like you feel like tense, like you
Tension.
just like you go like you clench your teeth and you're just like, oh no, or like cringing at some point. This book was just like completely like it's just imagine the feeling of like taking a shower. And this is very imagery focused. Taking a shower, getting into bed, like all curled up and everything, and then you're opening this book, taking a deep breath, going like, because you can finally read at the end of the day. Like this is that type of book. Like you're not like,
Yes.
oh, I'm about to jump into some like fantasy book that's like the characters are going to be doing stupid things and there's people dying and there's like people making bad decisions and stuff and people and romances that you don't want happening. So
I
yeah.
would say that's right. It's just a very wholesome and grounding story, I would say, because it's very, very human. I hate to use the word humanizing in this context, but it's very, very just down to earth.
No, it is very. I mean, it is. I feel like the story is very character driven rather than like plot driven. I don't really think there was a plot. Do you think there was like a main plot to the story?
There was a plot. It was, living and watching Viv create her dream. And then also her realizing that it wasn't really the dream of becoming it's like, those old moral stories where basically, the friendships the treasure was the friendship we all made along the way kind of that thing. But actually in this story, it's true because after her coffee shop, well, spoilers for people we forgot to
No, no,
spoil
don't worry. This is spoiler. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So when the coffee shop burns down, it was a realization that that wasn't her dream. That wasn't what she later found was most important to her. It was the people around her.
I know that was scary for me. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like everything that this book was working up for, like, is gone." But then I realized too that there is a more important moral to this story, it was so beautiful. It was
Yeah, it
so
was very beautiful.
yeah. So we didn't relate to Thimble at all. Thimble is just cute. Thimble is
Thimble deserves the world.
the little mouse, the little
The
mouse
little
guy.
mouse.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's the stickers. We got stickers. The publisher sent us cute little stickers with the books, so that's really cute. I think that's limited edition. I don't know if you can just get it with the book.
But they're so cute.
I know, Thimble's so cute. All right. So let's shift a little bit and talk about a little bit of the themes. I think there was a lot of themes. I think this book in general, like it was definitely okay. What I want to say before saying anything is like this book isn't that deep.
No.
Like it's not supposed to be deep, but inherently there are some things that like stood out and like you could learn from this book. I think like with when you read any like text or literature. But yeah, what are some themes that I guess like stood out to you?
Well, themes, I would say it's well, the big one is don't judge a book by its cover.
Literally.
um, because it's filled with that. It's realizing that the which is really interesting in fantasy is that even in fantasy there's racial stereotypes, especially in fantasy there's racial stereotypes. So orc as an Viv as an orc has stereotypes of being very brutish and not very intelligent usually, and quick to quick to quick to start and become part of a fight. That's the kind of stereotype that, in this case, is very wrong. She has to live with that stereotype, and she did when she was adventuring. But now, as a coffee shop owner, she doesn't have to do that. And then Tandri, who wants to be, went to the university or the college because that's what she wanted to do, and got driven out because of stupid men, as usual. Um, there's another stereotype because succubi are stereotypically seducers of men and like you know meant to like femme fatale kind of thing where they don't care about that thing, but in this case she does. So it's really nice to see this subversion of stereotyping in fantasy.
Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of books don't do enough to kind of tackle that, and seeing that even in this like very comforting story too about like friendship, and also them Viv and Tandri meeting each other and figuring out that they both have the same common goal. One theme that stood out to me, which I don't know if it stood out to you, but I think it's because of how it related to my life. But the idea that like it's never too late to chase your dream, like kind of career changes like as like an adult, I think, because like Viv had this very like illustrious career she made off of like killing and looting and all of that, and then she decided that she like didn't want to do that anymore. But this book is to that, like all the odds were against her, like literally all the odds, because she is a slaying orc that has a long history of killing, and she has friends in the business who are bad people. Nobody knows what coffee is, so like she has that against her too. She's starting a business in a place where nobody knows what the commodity is, and again she had to find all of the staff and people to make connections in a new place because it was her first time going to that area. And
Hmm.
so all the odds were against her, but she conquered all of that because she believed that like it's never too late to chase after your dream.
That's a very, very topical thing because, like, I don't know if I can say that, but your live streams on LinkedIn with the talking about how you changed your career, so it's a really relatable thing.
Yeah, it's a relatable thing that I like kind of saw, and I was like, oh, this is so nice that this book is kind of, especially with an older main character. Like I think Viv she's I don't think this is young. I don't know if this is young adult actually, but Viv is an older character.
She basically the lifespan of adventures is basically until you die. So that was what if she were to stay, she would be waiting for that. And she's mentioned that many times in the book, how she would be like, if she were to just continue, she'd be nursing her back, which was an old injury, or dying while on an adventure, and she didn't want that.
Yeah. So I don't really, that was something I did want it to be clarified, where that pinpoint churn, that like what made Viv turn, like to realize that, because I felt like it went straight from like her getting the stone to her trying to do
Well,
this.
it was mentioned a couple times. It was when she went to the gnomish city and she tried coffee for the first time, saw what a coffee shop could be,
Mm,
and realizing that that serenity was what she'd been missing all her life.
yeah.
That was a turning point.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I just forgot.
It's okay.
Okay, what other themes? I want to talk about this theme of like found family. I think, like, do you know what found?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So yeah, I think I don't know if I don't know. The books I've been reading with found family have been mostly like literary fiction and like romance. So I haven't really read many fantasy with found family in it, but I really like this idea of it in fantasy. I think especially because you have these characters who have like a history of like being like either abandoned or like cast out, and or haven't like heard from their family. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting theme that this book centered on.
Well, we also I forgot to mention the supporting characters too. Thimble and the Hob. I also forgot his name,
Cal.
unfortunately. Huh?
Cal.
Cal, that's right. Cal, remember, he was being discriminated because he was just being asked to do like really simple jobs while in the shipyard, just like building like dinghies and stuff when he has such amazing skills by def by we see through him building and working on the coffee shop, but he was being neglected because of his race. Same with Thimble. The only people that really recognized Thimble and actually got him to do the things were the three of them, Cal, Viv, and Tandri, and also the old man that they bought ingredients from, who said that he was a genius. It's just this group of people who have basically been discriminated against or been packed into a box their entire lives, and then finding each other, found family.
Yeah. I like and I like how they kind of came like one by one into the story. Like they weren't all introduced in the beginning, but it was kind of Viv realizing that she wasn't going to be able to do this alone and that she needed more people. Sorry, I see like a person talking in the chat.
I see. I wish I could see that, but
Oh, you can't see that?
I'm on StreamYard. I can't see what's not happening.
I'm on StreamYard too. Go to comments. Go
Oh.
on the right side and go to comments.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, found family and then friendship and kindness. Like I think everyone was like, even the Madrigal, like even she had treated like the character like Viv and Tandru with a lot of kindness. So I think there was a lot of like subversion of tropes in this book that were explored. Like bad people aren't always bad, like they have the capacity to change, and it's when they meet like the right people or under the right circumstances. So I kind of like that message too.
Good.
Yeah. So it wasn't as like, was it as action oriented as you would have wanted, or
No, because it was very much pushed as not action oriented, so I wasn't expecting it at all.
yeah.
Usually I am more on the high fantasy, the science fiction, the action oriented, but if it's like I see that the book's not going to have that, I'm not going to expect it.
That's true. I think this book was more high fantasy than I thought it would be. There were still some things that I was like, whoa, like we're like
But that's also just the background of D&D, the world that they're.
That's true. The lore, right?
Yeah, it's already been established, and it's there's like a slight introduction, but there's a lot of like background stuff that's assumed by Baldree that isn't explained. Like you don't really know what an orc is. The book doesn't tell you what an orc is, what a gnome is, what a succubus is. You're supposed to know that already.
Yeah, but even without that, for me as someone who knows nothing about Dungeons and Dragons, I felt like it was easy enough to follow along and kind of you catch on really quickly, and you also realize that you don't really need to know any of those.
Nope,
yeah,
you don't.
Because I think like the author did a good job of talking about the like stereotypes that are already associated with them. So it kind of like makes up for it. So. All right. Did you gain a new perspective from reading this book? I remember you had talked about it. You said, don't judge a book by its cover. That's something that I mean, even with this too, like just the cover itself, I was a little like put off by it. Not because it's definitely not what you would see. It definitely is not what like you would think of like a high fantasy book. You know what I mean? So definitely not to judge.
I was put off by it.
But did you like have a different expectation of what it was going to be about?
No, I think it was very honest. I just knew that I would probably never pick this book up myself.
Yeah.
Because in case of the book and the actual book and its cover, this is the most honest book cover you can probably get on what's actually happening in the book.
Because it's so cozy and cute, right?
Yes. So because of that, I probably wouldn't pick up the book, but it didn't surprise me or it didn't give me really a new perspective on what was happening. It was a very it was a predictable book, but because it was so predictable, you don't have to really think about it. It's just that cozy feeling. You don't want a cozy book to be unpredictable and have twists and turns.
Did you not expect the like twist in the end of like the stone is not actually meant to give?
To be honest, I didn't really care about the stone because I didn't need to.
That's fair. No, it's low stakes. You're right. Yeah. The stakes in this book were non-existent, but that
the only stake was in the very beginning when the magical could have destroyed it because she didn't pay. But that was resolved halfway through the book, so it was done.
I know. I at that point I got really nervous because I was like, oh no, are there actually gonna be like action and stuff? But I like how the author is able to, like, even with the fire too, you don't realize that the fire isn't like really like a dangerous fire. It's like, you know what I mean? Like everyone,
Yeah,
there was no one really in danger.
absolutely. And also, I think it's partially because we are inside the character of Viv, who is basically an indestructible orc. It takes a lot of damage to get hurt. And then we get to another point where basically now that she has to look out for more than just herself, Tandri, because they get together. It's really cute, and also her coffee shop. That she has more at stake in that way. But and then that's why the father was quite devastating. But in terms of new perspectives, no, this book did not give me any
Damn, really?
because it didn't need to. There was
Yeah.
no need for it.
Again, this book wasn't very deep, so I don't think it was trying to like teach you about anything. I think
Absolutely
it's
not.
just it was novel in the fact that like there are so many expectations on fantasy, and I think when we think about Dungeons and Dragons and the way this book delivers is like you get none of those stakes. You just simply can take what you want out of it as if you were reading like a romance book, because
Hmm.
that's how I feel about romance books. It's just like there's not really that many stakes that you have to be concerned about. You're just concerned about the people, more the
Hmm.
characters. But
There's the in the on the back here it says there's a quote from a review, a must read for every D&D player who has ever wondered what happens after happily ever after. And that's such a good review because what happens after a campaign in D&D is that the characters that the people play, they get retired. They're not used again unless they want to be in another campaign, but they after a campaign is finished, the story ends, and they can live their happily ever after. And then this kind of is the next step after that,
I love
which
that.
is yeah.
Yeah, starting a coffee shop.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like this one too. Taking a break from epic battles and saving the world. Like for me, someone who has a lot of anxiety when I go into reading books is always like, okay, gotta know what, because I'm a mood reader, because so everything for me is like I have to be in the mood to read like a super high fantasy or sci-fi book. Like I have to really be willing to do the work in order for that. But for this book, I was like, I didn't feel any type of way. I was kind of just like, okay, like this is the type of book that I would be able to read in any type of mood because it's so like comforting and just and like, and peaceful that I feel like I can read this whenever.
Hmm.
Do you feel like you have the same motivations as any of the characters?
Mm, the musician, which I still can't remember the name of. Apologies.
Shoot.
That's my dream.
Are you serious? Can't remember his name?
I know it's really bad at
I
me.
literally have all my post-its in here, but like what are they good for? Because I can't remember anyone's name either, but I don't really write in any of the. What did you think of like the magic in this book? Okay, to be honest, for me,
Hmm.
I without my knowledge of D&D stuff, I didn't really understand the magic, like the ley lines and everything, just
No,
because I didn't want to expend that much energy thinking about it.
it's just you don't read a lot of fantasy.
No, that would
So
be
there's a lot of crossings between different like aspects of fantasy. So D&D is based off of another, the world of D&D is based off of Tolkien a little bit and got
mm,
its own inspirations from other stuff. So in a lot of fantasy is going to have these kind of recurring themes, and ley lines would be one of them. Mana would be one of them. Curses would be one of them, and blessings in the case of the Scaled Stone. Like it's not really a matter of you needing to know exactly what a Scalbard is. Like I didn't know what a Scalbard was. It's probably made up. Probably doesn't even exist in D&D, or it probably does. I have no idea. But what matters is that it was relevant to the story because of what Viv wanted out of it, which was fortune, any kind of fortune and luck, basically. And then we realized that the Scalbard Stone didn't do that and brought people together, and that's why she managed to find Tandri, Cal, and all these people because of the Scalbard's, powers or whatever. But in that case, it just doesn't really matter because the story is about the interactions with this adventuring orc, this extremely intelligent and artistic succubus this woodsman who only says and Thimble who makes the best pastries. The story's about them, not about the magic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought the magic was a good it added to the plot. It added tension and a little bit of, the stakes that we were talking about, and it created the story. But yeah, like you said, I don't think the magic was the centerpiece of. And for someone like me who didn't really understand the magic, like I had a
Neither
hard
did me
time.
too.
Yeah, like I had a hard time putting it together about why things were like important and like what kind of impact they had on the story. You didn't really need to understand the magic to understand the heart of the story, which is great. Yeah. I feel like this is a good book for like readers who have never read fantasy before and like want to slowly get into it in order to see if they would like the genre, because it does, you're right, it does introduce some very like common things in a lot of fantasy books taken from like older fantasy. But I feel like if you were unsure if you like the genre, it has a little bit of everything. It has like friendship, real life lessons, it has even a little bit of romance. And it would slowly ease your way. That's how like I read the book.
I would say so, but I would say that this might not be. I would also argue that it might not be the best devil's advocate because it might introduce these new themes, but it doesn't explain them. It doesn't tell people. So you need kind of a background in fantasy to know.
But I feel like if you're like just getting into fantasy though, like you want to know if you like it, like in terms of like if you vibe with it.
I would like everything explained.
No, because you read like super hardcore, like convoluted, complex, like fantasy books, and those are always like you have gamer instincts. That's what you need.
I do have gamer.
That's what you need when you read hardcore fantasy, like the freaking no, that's science fiction, but like the sleep in a sea of stars, like that's like
love it.
You need like gamer instincts or like sci-fi and fantasy instincts in order to read those types of books and not have to like entirely map out all of the things that are going on, because that's what someone like me would need to do. I know, because I don't have those instincts. I can't read something and put it into like the larger puzzle of the bigger picture, which is what you do automatically. Like you like take a piece of information and you're like, how does it fit in with like everything we learned before? And I'm like, so wait, what is this? What's happening? Like I'm so confused. So I think this is a great book in terms of like if you've never read fantasy and you just want to feel the vibe, because I feel like if you read a romance, like the vibes between genres are so different, as we're gonna see when we read this month's book, which is I don't have the book. Kiss Her Once for Me, by Alison Cochrane, which is a fantasy
winter love story
romance, which is a romance. Yeah. It's actually a rom-com. Good luck, babe.
Whatever.
Is good luck to you. Because yeah, I feel like your gamer instincts are gonna be going crazy when you're reading this rom-com. You're like, why is it so cute?
Oh my god. I do have a guilty pleasure of romances. I do enjoy them, but
exactly. Come on.
Rom-com, a lot of times rom-com, what it means is, I'm gonna make you cringe.
No, that's not. No, that's you can't say that. Rom-com people will come for you. No, I feel like rom-com nowadays there is sort of like, I feel like with every genre too, there are some stakes. I just feel like for me, the biggest thing about rom-com is just the characters really annoy me. Like more so than fantasy, because I feel like fantasy, there is a little bit plot, but I feel like for rom-coms, a lot of it is character driven. So I'm just so constantly like annoyed at the characters. You know what I mean?
All right, we shall see. It will be. I was the one who picked it, so it will be an interesting thing. But I did want something again cozy because it's the winter time and it's holiday season, so we gotta work seasons here, you know.
I know. In January I'll choose a fantasy book. How about in January I'll choose like a super complicated fantasy book for us to read.
How about you choose a science fiction book?
Like Babel?
How about you choose a science fiction book?
I can't.
I chose a rom-com book.
No, I literally can't with science fiction. Like I will lose my mind reading a science fiction book. I just can't.
Right.
But I will.
We are deviating from the topic, however. Still.
Okay, what's the topic? Do we have the motivations of the characters? I mean, yeah, I feel like not in the sense that like, do I want to open my own coffee shop? No, but like, do I want to achieve something that the world doesn't think I can achieve? Yes, I do have that.
I think we're both in agreement with that, and that is the motivation of this story. is to pursue a dream that seems impossible despite the odds and making it.
Yeah, and also like doing something that like you aren't, I don't know, that yeah, that is the biggest thing. Like doing something amazing, like doing something because nobody knew what coffee was, you know, and I think her idea was to change minds and change people's perspectives, bring something new, and that's kind of like what I want. I want to be quirky and unique. I want to I
More
want
so than you already are.
yeah, yeah, I wanna be, like, special, you know, and I think that's kind of what she was building for herself. She wants to be, like, inherently, like, recognized, I think, so that everyone would be like, "Oh my god, who is this orc? Like, what? They're not supposed to be selling coffee." Okay, I wanna know, what did you think about the coffee in this book? Because I freaking love
How
it.
about let's go with your thoughts on that first?
Okay, I have never seen, you know, I've seen a lot of videos and I know how it works. I know how coffee is made, but the way this book is able to like transport you, the way it's described, writing is inherently just so much more complex and more nuanced than like for me like visuals. And so seeing them describe like how to make coffee was just so freaking like I like want to go back and read those parts. Were you like interested at all? Or were you just like, eh?
Well, I don't drink coffee, so I don't like coffee and I don't like sweet things. So the food in this book was not really the main attention for me. So, but what I could appreciate was this, well, just an appreciation for the things that they love, which you can definitely see in the way it's written. That Viv loves coffee, loves the whole premise of it, making it,
Hmm.
smelling it, drinking it, and experiencing it. Like, and also Thimble loves baking. It is his passion, and he's an innovator. He creates and makes new things that nobody's ever seen before because he loves what he does. And you can see that passion come through. And then also Tandri loves to do what you do, which is marketing and art. She loves to find new ways to bring in people and use her personable skills to market this coffee shop, you know?
Yeah, I forgot about that part. That was a huge part for me too, seeing her ideas come to life. Like God, they were such smart ideas too. And I think a lot of it, like I told you, like I think I did mention this before to you, but I think a lot of it was really cool to read because kind of like they were leveling up. So like this book was like kind of like a little game.
Mm,
Because in each like new scene they were leveling up and advancing and adding new things to their menu and like making the prices.
yes,
So I thought
and that
that
was
I
very
don't
cool.
no, I know, like, it was ingenious how, like, the author was able to capture that in writing, because usually we're playing it out, it's being done, you actually have to do things in order to it, but right now, all you're being rewarded for, like, flipping the pages, for reading on, so
Hmm.
that was such an interesting that's, like, master, like, writing right there, like, artistry, so
Hmm.
but even the process, like, hearing about coffee didn't make you wanna try it?
Not really.
No?
No, not really. Unfortunate. I'm
I
sorry.
I will change your mind.
No, probably not.
Ugh, wow, that was my last wow, I wanted to convince you to drink coffee so bad that I planted this book.
Oh, good try.
I
Wasn't
planted
gonna
I
happen.
planted this
Sorry.
book in one of our book clubs. I created this book club just to choose this book, just to make you like coffee.
Why do you want me to get addicted to something that you have to go every single day drinking that you don't even like?
What do you mean I don't even like?
You like a vanilla iced latte with enough sugar to die.
But it's the taste of coffee. It's not
Hmm.
the, like, sugar that I like.
Hmm.
I could have coffee without sugar.
Hmm.
That's not what the draw is.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Nice
okay.
try.
What's the okay, so let's take a look at our song. I didn't really have that many for this because I feel like a lot of the songs that I would choose for this are like instrumental, right? Like
So
literally,
I thought the same. I
oh
did
my
the
god,
same
we're
thing.
twins! Like literally like coffee shop music though, you know?
Hmm.
But like I don't really listen to that many instrumentals. So like it was really hard for me to choose music because I was like, shit, like I don't think this oh, but by the way, this is our playlist on Spotify. I'll link it in the description once I'm done with this. I think I forgot to do it. But
Mhm.
the one that I have here, okay, I'm not really confident in my choices because I can see you put a lot of songs because you listen to. Why did you put?
So actually,
Is it
yes, I put some.
burlesque?
I put some interesting choices in there. I will explain them after you explain yours.
Okay, okay. So I put some Lizzie McAlpine because I feel like her songs are like coffee shop music, even though they do have lyrics. You know, it's very guitar stripped back, like acoustic, so it's really nice. Okay, I'm not even gonna say this one because I don't really like it. But I put Lofi and I put Valentine because I feel like jazz music is really good for
That's a
this
good choice.
choice, right? I feel like jazz is like I know the singer was wasn't a lady friend, but I feel like if they would have jazz music in there, I feel like it'd be really cool. So I
Hmm.
put Lofi in there. But yeah, those are pretty much all I wanted to put. I didn't want to put like my usuals because it's very like poppy, and I don't feel like this book like does not give off pop song vibes.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So I had a bunch of different themes with this one. So I have two songs based around the idea of coffee shop music. One of them is "I Miss You" by Ichika Nito, which is a very nice lo-fi guitar song. If there's anybody left in the chat, go listen to Ichika Nito right now. He is one of the most amazing guitarists I've ever had the pleasure of listening to and learning how to play some of the songs from. And also just the two of us, but the Kawai 45 and Sweet Cocoa version, which is also nice and lo-fi slash neo soul. And it's just a very like very nice chill vibes kind of cover of just the two of us, and I really enjoy that.
Oh,
Now,
is it instrumental?
no, it's like they're actually singing. It's just kind
Oh,
of like it's like lo-fi with or low chill kind of, soft voices. So I
mhm.
really enjoyed that song. If I were to read or drink my choice cold beverage, I would be probably listening to that, you know. Now I also show some others because of more of the lyric stuff. So Call My Name is another one of them that I was thinking. I was basing a lot of this around the word wholesome. So "Call My Name" is by Seth Walker is a rather kind of wholesome song about basically being there in times, kind of like being there in times of trouble for the person that you love, but it's a little bit. It can be at times ambiguous, so it can be implied to just friendships as well. But it's the idea of just like whenever you need help or wherever you are, call my name, which I really enjoyed also because of this story, this idea of, relying on others. And I thought that was a really good choice. And then Stay Here Instead by Carter Ace, the other one on the list, is relating to more wholesomeness and relating to the scene where Viv and Tandri were very awkward with each other because Viv really wanted her to stay, but Tandri was and also wanted to stay, but they decided to send her off
Hmm.
because they couldn't explain their feelings. So that song and that scene that popped into my head. And then also a very interesting choice, the one that you mentioned, which was the Cher song from Burlesque. You haven't seen the last of me, so I actually, I really do like the movie Burlesque mainly because of the music. I love the music in that movie, and this song is one of the empowering songs about coming up from the ashes and you know the title, but you haven't seen the last of me, and that applied to the scene after the shop burned down and she got back up onto her feet, as well as the part where she created her own dream. So if you remember from Burlesque, Cher, the character that Cher played, she built her own, parlor on her own 2 feet. So that's what I thought, like as a woman empowerment kind of connection. That's what I was thinking about. And then the last one on the list is "Make It Move" by Johnny Lang. Sorry, I added a lot because I was thinking this book brought a lot of different song ideas to my head,
No,
and
yeah.
"Make It Move" by Johnny Lang is what I think the first song that the singer from that came into the shop would have sang, because it's really, really his voice is super raspy and really, really soulful. And as you get onto it, it like blasts you in the face in the beginning, mellows out later, and then there's a guitar solo with distortion on it, which is actually what I think was happening at the beginning when he was scaring people. It
Oh
was a
my
different kind of lyre, which is a string instrument, and he was talking about how it was distorted because of it was a new thing that he was trying, distorting the sound. and that's what I was thinking he was trying to do.
Maybe that's so cute that you like
Yeah.
kind of put a song that you imagine that he'd be playing. That is so cute. I love that. I think I missed the assignment. I failed the assignment because I was trying to choose songs that I thought were were played in a coffee shop, but you like chose songs that like actually like embodied
Hmm.
the actual books. I failed the assignment. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. But yeah, this song, because this is definitely not a book that I would usually read, and definitely not music that I usually listen to, because it's like I don't usually listen to wholesome music when given a chance. Well, sometimes I do, but like connecting now, I think making the playlist is my favorite part of doing these monthly book
Maybe
reads
why'd you
because
think I did it? Why'd you think I put it on the thing? It's for you.
thank you. Yes, because I love bringing connections to songs that I listen to, and also songs that I find to whatever I'm reading, and that's just such a fun thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally created this for you. I feel like I needed to give you a very Brandon question. It hurts my soul though that you only let that's your favorite question, huh?
Well, you know.
But yeah, I agree too. I do like, and I like when we like after we make it. We usually make it a little bit earlier, and these are under different circumstances because we're not together. But we usually listen to the playlist a lot together,
Together, yes.
and we like fight. We're like, no, like this song doesn't fit. Your song
Yeah.
doesn't fit. Your song sucks.
And I love that.
Yeah, but I love that we're able to do that, and like music is kind of like a love language to you. So like being able to describe a book through music is something that is like super special, you know?
It helps me kind of sort out how I feel about the book and what I'm feeling through the book, and just
Also,
naming a song that's connecting to it helps. So
also for people who like also similarly connect through music, like if they were to hear our playlist, maybe it would convince them to pick up the book, you know? Because maybe
or other way around, maybe reading the book and then listening to playlists, maybe they listen to songs that they might not have enjoyed but connecting to the book.
exactly that. Yes, I love that. But yeah, that is Legends Lattes. It was honestly, I loved it too a lot. I
It's
did
such a
not
good book.
expect it. I know I didn't expect to love. I think it's gonna be on my best books list of this year,
I
which
think
is
it's definitely on mine for this year, just because
really.
it's such an unexpected love.
Mhm.
Because I knew what was going to come from it. I just didn't expect it to be that good.
Okay, would you read it again?
Yeah, I would read it again. It's like
Yeah.
what, like 300 pages?
I know you read it so fast. I was like that time when we were supposed to be buddy reading together, and then you're like texting me. You're like, so
That's
what would you say if I accidentally finished it? I'm like, huh?
that's right. One of the days that we were planning on doing a buddy read, I I said I was gonna just read one page. I finished like a quarter of the book in that one sitting just because I couldn't stop. So
I know you. I can. This is let me do a let me do a cosplay of how you were. Okay, so you're like just one page, and then you put it down, and then you're like that. That's
that's
literally
basically what happened, because then after I finished, I was like, "Oh God, what have I done?" And then I texted you.
that is so. I know, and I was like, bro, we just were reading last night. How the hell did you like finish the book in the span of time that you're texting me now, and when we last read it? I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
Okay, yeah.
Apologies.
But yeah, okay, that's the end of the live show. If you are sticking around, definitely tune in with us. This month we're reading Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane, which is a rom-com, a holiday rom-com. So yeah, you still have time to get your copy, and we'll be doing our live show in January. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you guys on next month's live show when we're back together in person. Yeah, although I kind of like this setup though. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty chill.
Yeah, it's nice, but I prefer us bantering in person.
I know it's kind of. How about we do it on StreamYard? Oh, type the name of the guitarist. Can you type the name?
Yes, I can do that.
Are they talking about Nito?
I believe yes. Okay, so the name is Ichika Nito. I apologize. I don't think I can actually.
Okay, I will type. I
Yes,
can.
yes, you know the name. You got it. You got it.
No, I don't. I'm looking on. There we go.
There you go. Yes.
Yes, I think is that the one you were talking about?
Yes,
Is
that
there?
was the guitarist. I didn't talk about any other.
Oh, no other guitarists. Okay, cool.
There are singers and other musicians, but the
Yeah.
guitarist only is Ichiko Nito.
Yeah, and if you need to find us, follow us on Instagram and DM us for more music recs. We'll be publishing all of these playlists at the end of the year so that you can look at all of them. But thank you so much, everyone. All right,
Thank you guys so much for coming. Bye bye.